Welcome to today's planning committee meeting. Item number 1 is public participation. Do we have any public participation?
None on Zoom.
Harry? No, great, okay. Number 2, oh, do we need to? No, number 2, commence narrated. Apologies for absence. Who have we got, Harry?
We've got obviously Councillor Visser,
Yep.
Councillor Tony Scott, and Councillor Mrs. Mockford. Both of those for personal commitments.
Okay, I think Councillor Belsey is not coming tonight as well for other reasons. Do I have to ask for a vote for that? Or
Yeah, if you
propose
could.
that their absence or
Yeah,
absences
propose.
are. Can I have a second for that?
Yeah, second.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Thank you.
Item number 3 is to receive the minutes of the meeting held on the 20th of June. Can I have a second for that? Thank you, Danny. All those in favour of those minutes? Or has anybody got any comments? Sorry, before that.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favour? Good
If I
stuff.
can get you to sign now, Steve.
Starting with this. There he is. Just over there. So.
Hello, John.
Hello, Chairman. I love it too much. I can't escape.
Item number 4 is to receive members' declarations of interest.
So I just say that I am the member of the Sussex District Council District Planning Committee, and if any of these applications come before my case, I reserve my right to amend any decisions I take tonight on any additional information that I come for.
Great, thank you.
I think we need to declare interest on the East on the trees. It belongs to the East Grinstead Town Council.
Okay,
So I think
We weren't looking to discuss that formally, were we? So if we just refer that to the tree officer, yeah, that would be fine. But thank you for it.
all right. Excellent stuff. Chairman's announcements. The chairman will comment to the committee at the on the next agenda that the committee will consider a position statement on planning. So we will have that ready for the next meeting, which is the beginning of August. So just to note that, everybody. Item number 6 is licensing applications. Application OI 220936, Pick and Mix Cocktails Limited. It's a new premises license. We don't normally refer, we just refer this to the licensing officer. Can I have a second for that? Thank you. All those in favour?
I think there was a comment from Mrs. Mockford, wasn't there, about the location of this, but I guess that would be down to the licensing officer just to validate if there's any concerns.
Yes, well, I think Harry put a note on that.
Yeah.
For, she's already been in touch with you, I believe, hasn't she?
Yes, yeah, she just put a touch. Basically, she let me know that she's already talked to Mid Sussex, who have received her comments on the location, and it's gone to the licensing team.
Right, just in our absence, I thought.
Yeah,
Duty bound
thanks,
as a
Steve.
board councillor.
Great stuff. Next item number 7 is protected tree applications. Has anybody got any comments on those? Save the obviously the council applications that are on there.
Yeah.
I would then propose that we recommend this to the tree officer. Have a second. It's Councillor Dean.
Could you just vote on that?
Can we also, all those in favour of that? Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right. Item number 8. Here's what we're all here for. Sorry, here we go. First proposal is DM 220539, the Grange Firs Lane. It's a 2-storey rear extension. It's a resubmission of DM 184384, which were received on the 22nd of June. We have one objection from a neighbour on this one. It's Imberhall, so I'll start off with Councillor Whittaker.
Thank you. Yes, this Furze Lane is, can be quite a touchy road, really, in terms of planning, in my previous experience. And something, it's a bit like Marmite down that road, with some applications, others going through. I'm minded to, my overriding feeling is, unless there are any major objections for major reasons, then yeah, the NPPF applies, and it's in favour of sustainable development. So, I'm minded to approve.
Okay.
So we refer it obviously to the district council, so for a final report and decision.
Would anybody second that? Thanks, Councillor Favour. Has anybody got any comments on it? I would say that the objection was from the neighbour to the left of the property, or the proposed property, and she said that it's really close and is going to block out quite a lot of sunlight, and she thinks it's very unneighbourly, being so close to her boundary and also extending out. So that's one of the main overriding comments. Yes.
Thanks, I would say obviously that the rear building line is not exceeding the neighbour's boundary line.
Yeah.
So really, that's usually the general rule in those sorts of instances. But I know that the planning department have dealt with recent applications on this road, and I'm very familiar with the road, so I'm trust their judgment.
Okay.
On this.
So have a
And as far as kind of windows and stuff, there's no windows that are noted that side. It's all obscured glass or high level windows.
Okay.
I understand.
absolutely. So I have a proposal to recommend the application. Of those in favour? Great stuff. Thank you. The next application is DM 22-1909, and it's also DM 22-1910 for the local building consents, listed building, sorry. So let's just see if I can improve the. It's the cottage, 11B High Street, East Grinstead. It's a demolition of existing rear single-storey outrigger extension and replacement with new dual-pitched roof and roof lights, together with minor internal alterations to the existing dwelling. I put it in there purely because it's High Street and it's also obviously a conservation area, so I thought it would be, it's like prudent for us to comment on it if anybody does have any comments. It's Town Ward. No one's here from town. John, can you start us off?
Well, I hear what you're saying in terms of obviously heightened interest on any application on the high street, but in terms of way forward, I personally have got no objections to it, but obviously interested in what the Heritage Officer would say. So,
Yeah.
conservation.
Subject to conservation officer.
Yes. So can I, got a proposal to approve? Can I have a second?
Yeah, subject to the conservation officer.
Great stuff. Any other comments?
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, I would just say that I don't know if you could bring the map down High Street, location map. Just
Oh yeah, sure.
Sorry, it's just so immediately adjacent to it at 5 High Street, to the left and upper left. Under construction there are a couple of houses that were approved about 2 years ago. Yeah. And it's considerably back from the High Street, right on the edge of the boundary of the conservation area.
Yes.
Unseen from the High Street. I'm just as a comment on the design. I agree with Councillor Nelson.
No, I think it's a great design. Actually, I think it's much an improvement.
Complements and upgrades, and
yeah,
it's a contemporary and traditional. So
I agree. Thank you. Okay, all those in favour? Thank you very much. Okay, here we go. So this is the next. It's DM 22-1995, 1 to 3 King Street. Extension and conversion of 1 to 3 King Street, East Grinstead, to provide one residential unit with cycle and refuse storage. Town ward. That's what we look like at the moment. Councillor Dealey, do you want to have a crack at this one?
Yeah.
So we've got the existing and then the proposed. I'm sorry, I can't. I just let him find to do that.
So my immediate thoughts on this, if I'm absolutely honest, is I would recommend refusal on this based on we are losing character in our existing high street. It's putting a box on the front. It feels, looking at the design that's in there, it's not really complimentary of our scale, our town as is.
I'll just include those photographs that they've put together for the application.
This is on the corner of.
It's right next to the public toilets, isn't it?
Yes,
Or very close.
And I think we've seen something like this not
yes,
long ago, and I think it doesn't. I think the only thing that's changed dramatically in this is the size of it. But
Yeah.
I think the design, and I think one of the things we said, I think it kind of in line with DP 26 and EG3. I think the design is
we refused it. We refused that
yeah.
earlier in the
And I've got to be honest, at least that it's not great, but at least that is retaining a certain amount of shape. Whereas from looking at this one, it's a complete box. It's just like putting a cardboard box on top of what would be quite pretty, where you've got this kind of pitch elevation. So you're losing, you know, a lot of our town at the moment has pitches. It has, you know, it ties into our existing high street, our historical high street. And I know this isn't part of the historical high street, but we're losing some certain amount of character there. And I'm all for modern design where it fits, such as the previous one, where you're complementing an existing historic building with a nice complementary extension to the rear of it. But this is quite a front-facing view. So, in my opinion, I would recommend refusal on the same as before, EG3, DP26 for design.
Okay. Can I have a second for that, please? Councillor Whitaker, thank you very much. Has anybody else got any comments?
Well, I suppose one comment would be that obviously the building next to it's also come up for planning on a number of times as well. And I know each application has to be considered on its merits, but it is quite confusing genuinely if I think for any resident to imagine what the combined look of those two applications might be. I'm not saying it would be unhelpful if the two owners actually got together and came up with something that aligned with each other and there was something a bit more consistent between the applications. So that would, I think, really help us. I know they don't have to, but I think it would give us a little bit more consistency, and I'm sure it would appeal more.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree, and I think why I'm concerned about that kind of location as well is because we lost quite an interesting building, which was the Catherine's building previously, and the atrium was built, and then you've got the travel lodge there, and you're kind of making it into a bit of a concrete paradise, really. That's not really. I don't know. It's just changing the outlook of our town, and I'm all for things moving along, but it just doesn't feel that one's really adding a huge amount to the high street. Personally.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, picking up on Councillor Delsey's point, which is a very good point. I know each application is individual, but in this instance, I do feel that they should be coordinated because I do believe that the next door building, applications like the Eagles going in, and the planning officer needs to look at the overall Mid Sussex design guide in combination with the two applications. That would be my opinion.
Yes.
And I think potentially we could put an informative through Clark that we would ask the planning officers to do that.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yep, I've just written that down.
It's unusual, but I don't think it's. I think it's warranted. In this
Well, it
instance.
just means that there's consistency in design.
It's a high street frontage. It's a gateway to the town. It's just off the crossroads. Superdrug is being developed as we speak.
Yes.
It's going up. It's opposite the dime, opposite the post office. You know, it's a very, very busy junction that people notice a lot.
I agree. Okay. So recommended for refusal with those arguments and points made.
Of course.
Harry, all those in favour? Right,
Just to clarify, so I've put there that the EG3 and DP26 not meeting those, but also Rex's comment as well about the Mid Sussex Design Guide, referring to that.
And to be reflected, the design guide to reflect the two applications, please. Because it's effective, it looks like one building, it's not, it's two separate.
it's two
applications,
separate, yeah.
But it does look in physicality like one building.
It might be easier to name it, it's the Robert Dias.
Yeah, I think I'm right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hence the street C and
Yeah.
the continuing one.
thank you.
Okay. This application is DM 22-1778, 81 the High Street, conversion of the existing office space to a one-bedroom residential dwelling, and that's also combined with the listed building consent as well. So as you can see, it's behind the funeral directors. On the High Street. Oh,
Yeah.
Is it? Sorry, guys.
It's right beside Church Lane, isn't it?
Can you see that?
So it's right, it's a separate quality.
Yeah, that's on Saturday.
Yeah, at the back. So the plans are here. So you can see the greyed out areas aren't they're not affected by the development, but it's the bit on the left and the back area, and on the first floor as well at the top and the back. It's going to be developed from an office. So you can see where the office is. We've got a point, the pointer. I'll do it on my arrow. Can you see that? So this is the bit here that's the office that they're looking to develop, and this is the first floor, and then that comes in there.
Are you able to zoom in on it again?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Fine. That.
Oh,
That's better, isn't it?
yeah, sorry.
It's the far left bit, isn't it?
Where's the entrance?
So the entrance is actually, that's rubbish, isn't it? I can't use the pointer. Is it? So the entrance, I believe, is at the
Looks like it's back there.
yeah. It's here.
Yeah.
Oh, here, okay. Oh, that's, where's the, that's not developed there?
No, that's the
That's the existing.
that's the
office. So where's
existing.
place? So I just want to sort of see it in locations where it's sort of into sort of lounge area, and you've got some steps up that go into like the kitchen.
Yeah.
The utility at the back, downstairs toilet, and then that shower room upstairs. Oh,
Yes. So, John, can you
So
take the lead on it?
all I was going to say is I know that everybody regrets the loss of office space in the town, but particularly when you look at it on a map like that, it doesn't look, it's not the same as some of the natural, much bigger offices. I think it actually looks like it worked quite well as accommodation, to be honest. And so I know we'd all like to keep our offices, but I can't come up with a particular objection as to why that shouldn't be permissible. So on that basis, I'd subject to any other comments, I'd recommend approval.
I would say it's subject to it's quite small. So we'll just, I'll second that, John. If anybody got any comments, Councillor Whittaker, and then I'll come to Danny.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, just a couple of comments on what Councillor Burns was saying. It does look very small, like what you say, and so subject to the design guide space standards.
Yeah.
Which does look very, very tight to me, and building those, with the scale, etc. And I know that in the previous development of this block, not so many years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, conservation area was very, officer was very tight. And there've been enforcements on doorways at the front, albeit, so I think that it's quite a high profile location here in the high street.
Yeah.
So just that's the context of it.
Councillor Dooley.
Um,
Sorry,
Councillor
Councillor.
Others, the entrance is the only access going there,
Yeah, which I think is access around the back of the.
at the back.
I think only, I can't see many windows on it, and not, you know, it might be just the way it's been drawn on here, which would again come into kind of the living standards and stuff like that. I think my only concern is which again, we have a lot of flats in the town that don't have people living in them. This might have an advantage, it's got a little bit more character than some of the flats that live in big blocks. So that might be a bit of a selling point. So I am in support of it, but I'm just mindful that we do have a lot of empty flats still within the town. There's, you know, potentially there's another big development that has been through a few times within the Martels unit that they're looking to that, which is also another unique sort of site in its own right. But I'm just mindful of that we don't want to end up in a town with lots of empty developments and losing office space for the sake of it. But I think it does owe itself to quite a nice little subject to Councillor Belcher's comments that, you know, I think it owes itself to quite a nice little development actually.
Yeah, subject to size. I'd also mention something about cycle provision as a cycling provision as well. There's nothing in there, and you know, because there's no space for any cars, which I don't need to. I know in town, but that's another something I'd like to add. So, subject to those conditions, then, in terms of the conservation officer and other points that were raised, all those in favour? Thank you. Okay, last but not least, DM 22-02034, land south of 25 and 27 Holsway Road. It's a proposed 5G telecoms installation, street pole and additional equipment cabinets. We have got 4 objections on the portal so far, which I think is probably going to increase. There's quite a significant amount of public displeasure with this particular proposal. I'll hand over to Councillor Favor.
Yeah, and as much as we support the high quality, fast and reliable digital connectivity, that is to enhance economic growth and social inclusion. However, I'm concerned about many resistance from the neighboring houses there, and also there's a significant impact on the visual amenities of the area. It's very noticeable, very obvious. So with this location, I think I'm not happy to support this.
Well, it's a notification, so it's not something that we can actually vote on. But what we can do is put our comments forward so that when it's put forward, all that's there. Councillor Whitty.
Joe, is there a location plan, please?
There is. If you'll bear with me, I will just get that up.
Can you just confirm? I've seen that, obviously, that drawing in the circulated. Was that's actually put forward by the phone company themselves?
Yes.
I think I understand. I think it's where
Outside the flag.
outside our flag ladies house, just down the bottom of
Yeah.
Blackwell.
So it's
Quite a lot
just-
going on
It's that
down
green area,
Blackwell,
it's that green area just the other side of
yes.
the buildings.
There's actually a lot more since the this was printed.
Wow.
There's quite a lot of representation letters that have just come in.
So
Let's see.
Just while you're looking, Chairman, can I make a comment?
Yes.
So, obviously, I'm the district council for Ashurst Wood as well, and I do get a lot of representations every time a phone mast is coming forward, and a lot of them are people concerned about public health. Normally, phone companies put a letter confirming that they'll be below the allowed emissions level, and so if people are minded to object to it, don't think normally that public health is a reason to be able to reject. But as an example, we've got a phone miles rejected on the junction of Lewis Road and Hector's Lane,
Yeah.
because it didn't have appropriate visibility display for cars coming out of Hector's Lane, which would be the equivalent of Blackwell Farm Road. It also impacted there on an area of outstanding attributes, but I do think here again you've got the potential impact on the character of the area, notwithstanding the development going on in Blackwell Farm Road, but you've got these cool opposite, you've got green space. And so, yeah, so I think there must be some concerns raised regarding that. And I think there's also Joseph, it's probably just, as you see the size of it. I mean, I know you are allowed to have tall masts, but just with that location, nothing else from there, I think it's very distracting
It would be.
as well for drivers and cyclists, etc. So I do think again that would be a very big concern of mine, particularly when you've got all those school children crossing and going up Blackwell Farm Road, etc. I know it's a very busy road, and I would be concerned about the impact that a mast there might have.
Yeah. As a result.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, I mean, that's immediately adjacent to the mini roundabout from Blackwell
Yes.
Farm Road. That's the worst possible location, sure, for visual means, as councillor for said. That's crazy.
No, I agree. I think that I think location is appalling, but I wondered if there was an alternative location. Obviously, we do need these upgrades so that everyone moving forward has got super fast broadband or whatever. I don't know. Is there other locations that we could use?
So it's not for us to find the locations,
No.
it's for the developer, the phone company to find an appropriate location. I know they do ground, but it's not just the mast itself. I mean, it's the cabinets
Yes.
as well, which are much opaque and very cut off the vision at sort of car level.
Yes.
So it's both aspects. So
Yeah.
It's going to be a much busier junction with development going up, potentially
Sure.
back of that area and then the development on that previous is.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. It looks like the land ownership of that in West Sussex County Council, right? So
Yeah.
Clearly with these masts, there's a commercial arrangement here outside the planning brief, but the choice of this, I think, should be an alternative location, which may cost the company a lot more money commercially, and there are alternatives that are a lot less conspicuous than that.
Yes.
And I think that point should be made
Yes.
in very strong terms.
Yes.
to-
I agree.
to council.
There are definitely alternative locations which are available to them
Like QH or whatever.
for the football club or somewhere like that. Just so, and then Yeah.
It's not a million miles away from Charlotte's industrial estate as well, in some respects.
That's
Some respects.
Yeah. So we'll put those comments in. Are we allowed to sort of say, look, if we're minded to say if it was to come to us for planning approval, that we would refuse it? Or, I don't
That's
know.
basically what I've put
Okay.
in terms of although we can't make a vote, basically our recommendation is that there should be a much better location for this.
I think it should be very strongly worded.
Yeah.
Chairman.
Okay.
And I've also said that the design will have a negative impact on the community, the character of the area, and the size of the pole could be dangerous for road users, including pedestrians who use that road
Okay.
and the roads around.
We'll have a,
I think they need to do a full. They have to. I think they're going to do.
I think we may
showing
make a
the-
comment
showing the
about
disability
this
aspects.
specifically as well.
Mm.
Just because of the amount of response that it's had, not just from this committee, but from residents around.
okay. Right. Well, we'll definitely put something very strong, some strong words back so that everybody knows, I think, how we feel about that. Excellent. Thank you very much, everybody. Time now is 7:36 and 7 minutes.